This week, studios shut down, PlayStation raises the price of PlayStation Plus, and Dreadwolf is a dead wolf. This is the Nerd Cave News, and I am your host tonight, Zach Dykes. Derek is off tonight. This episode is brought to you by Coffee Brain Coffee and our wonderful patrons and the Epic Game Store. You can go over and use creator code NerdCave at checkout on the Epic Game Store. It costs you nothing extra and it helps support us. Check out all the Fortnite stuff, your Rocket Leagues, and any other games that are over on the Epic Game Store. Zach needs a name. I have a name. It is Zach. And it's number one. It's number one. It's number one. But we'll talk about more of our sponsors later. Let's jump into the gaming discussion for this week. First up, Ed Boon says he's absolutely has a desire to do something different. Speaking during an interview with IGN, Ed Boon, co-creator of Mortal Kombat, has admitted that he definitely feels like tackling something different, whether that be with a new franchise or something with the Mortal Kombat series as a whole. Boon, who is working on the upcoming Mortal Kombat 1 at developer NetherRealm Studios, nonetheless said that he doesn't feel burned out by a fighting game, as the teams are incredible, including new modes in each game that keeps things fresh. He goes on to say, I absolutely have a desire to do something different. Surprisingly, I don't feel burned out just because we've been trying new stuff with each game. Sometimes it's something as minor as like a side game of puzzle combat, conquest, all of these kinds of modes, and now invasions. So those game features and game modes, I think for our studio keeps things kind of fresh while we still do the core mechanic of a fighting game in online, single player story and all that stuff. So with all of that, I think, Ed Boon's working on this thing for like 30 years. Okay. He's been working on Mortal Kombat since day one. And for him to be like, hey, I would like to do something else, because yes, we've gotten Mortal Kombat. We've gotten DC versus Mortal Kombat. We've gotten the Injustice games, but all in all, those are all just fighting games. And I think, looking at like the pedigree of what Ed Boon has done is like, yeah, you've created the like epitome of fighting games. And I some people are gonna be like, what about Smash Brothers or Tekken this, or Street Fighter? Like, Ed Boon has made a game franchise last this long when it was just kind of like a rarity. Like, a lot of people were turned off, especially parents, with Mortal Kombat back in the day, but it continues to iterate and change. But I can totally understand. It's like, you do something so long, you want to change. You want a little bit different. Yeah, you get the new things, online play, you get the different little modes or whatever, but it's like, you want to kind of sharpen yourself on something different. And I think being at NetherRealm, I think he's just going to be making more fighting games. I don't think it's going to be something that's totally off the beaten path. One of the things that I do like about the Injustice games and even the Mortal Kombat games is like including the story into it. It's not just, all right, pick two characters, they fight, which is fun, but the story that actually takes place in those games, Injustice and Injustice 2 has a really awesome story. And I think with that, you have to understand that you're crafting something more than just a fighting game. And you could do something, I don't know what, but you could do something that has maybe some more exploration. And then one of the main, parts of the game is like a fighting game, but you actually have something open world, maybe more like a Yakuza or something like that. I don't know, but I would be surprised to see Ed Boon to get to do something else if he stays at NetherRealm, which I don't see why he would leave NetherRealm at this point. He's literally the God King over there. So I don't know. I'm curious to see where it happens, what goes on with Ed Boon, but I cannot fault him with being a little bit of tired of the fighting games. Um, over here, Nate over here talking about the PS Vita. So, but I think, all in all, Ed Boon is making great games. I think he will continue to make great games. He's not tired of Mortal Kombat, but he definitely wants to see something new. And can't fault him for that. If I ate Chick-fil-A every day, Chick-fil-A is great. Chick-fil-A is delicious. It is good. But if I ate a Chick-fil-A biscuit in the morning, I ate nuggets for lunch, and then I ate a salad for the evening, I'd be tired of Chick-fil-A after, a few days of that. So with that being said, I think eventually you need a little bit of palate cleanser. And I think that's what Ed's looking for and wanting in his career. So we'll see. Only time will tell what Ed Boon is going to do. Let's move to the second story of the night. Saints Row developer Volition is shut down. Had to change. There was a typo. Volition Games, the developer known for franchises like Saint Row, Red Faction, and Free Space, has been shut down by its parent company, Embracer Group. Its most recent release was the reboot of Saints Row in August 2022, so less than a year ago. And it received mixed reviews. Embracer Group has been undergoing restructuring after a $2 billion acquisition deal fell through earlier this year, leading them to close certain studios and cancel games. And the group that was going to buy this $2 billion influx of cash was a Saudi Arabia company. I think it might have actually been part of the government that invest in different companies and everything. We've seen them invest in like Tencent and various others. So this fell through. So Embracer was counting on that money, and then they backed out. So they have been canceling games and certain studios, so forth. As part of these efforts, Embracer Group evaluated Volition and made the decision to shut the studio down, effective immediately. Volition employees are being assisted during this transition period. The studio thanked fans for their supports for over the years. Murdoch says Red Faction was good. I don't know. A lot of people love Red Faction, and I know that a lot of people love Saints Row. I never was huge on the franchise. I played a little bit of the third. I'm not huge on wacky, zany games like that. Like, yeah, I'll play GTA, but like it's more for the story. And then you can play around with the world and everything. But I know a lot of people loved the first three Saints Rows. And some people like the fourth one as well. And then this relaunch of Saints Row, people were not that hot on. So I hate it for them. I hate it for all of the people, all the employees that were working there. Like this came out of like nowhere for them. There was no like preemptive to this. And because Embracer bought up a ton, I'm talking about a ton of developers, this is not going to be the last time we hear about this. We talked a few weeks ago, me and Derek talked about Embracer Group shutting down another development team and everything. So we're going to see a lot more of this while Embracer is trying to force the Lord of the Rings stuff on out and everything, but we're getting games like that awful Gollum game. We're getting Mines of Moria. We're getting trash out of that. And they're just trying to get the money that they spent tons of money on getting the IP of Lord of the Rings, and they're just making bad games. So this is, I hate it for all the employees. Embracer Group has made bad deals, and now they're, having to write the checks that they can't cash anymore. So they're making tough decisions, but it's affecting a lot of good people. And I hate that. And hopefully all of these employees will be able to find jobs within the industry. I know a lot of places within tech, within game development, a lot of stuff has been shrinking because of the environment that we're in right now with the economy and everything. So hopefully they'll be able to find places, within like a Sony, a Nintendo, an Xbox, somewhere where there's a little bit more stability. If you're going to Xbox, don't go to the 343. They're constantly people leaving there, so I don't know. Yeah, Amy says you hate to hear about this kind of job and project loss. Exactly. It's like every week I feel like we're talking about more people getting laid off, and we're going to talk about that in the next story as well as some people getting laid off. To Murdoch's comment, all of this government buying games, what gives? Um, it's actually a pretty interesting topic. I would love to delve deeper and research more on this, but with games, there's been a year over year increase in revenue. So if you are a government, say like Saudi Arabia or like the Chinese government, you are looking for ways to diversify your investments. Uh, America doesn't do this kind of stuff, but you're looking at ways to diversify investments and be able to get a return. And one way to do that is video games. Tencent is a is a perfect example of this, being the ones that have made so many big games out there and everything. They've also invested in, like, the Tencent is a Chinese company. They've invested in several different things as well. So that all being said, this makes a lot of sense for governments that are trying to get revenue in. They've got cash to burn to be able to invest in different things, and we see that from a lot of like foreign governments. They're doing that, not necessarily like your Western governments are doing things like that, because they don't, for whatever reason. So, which it would be very weird to hear like, oh, the U.S. government, bought 10% stock in whatever Bethesda. That would be weird to hear, but yeah, a lot of the non-Western governments are putting money into gaming in different spheres, technology, that sort of deal, because there is a return on investment. Um, Government and games. Oh yeah. That it's weird because like they're not governing, they're investors. They're not trying to necessarily change what the developers are doing, but they are investing in it so they can make more money off of it. So yeah, that it's a very strange thing. I'd love to dive deeper into that because I haven't really super looked into it, but I know that gaming is not the only industry that foreign governments have started investing in to be able to make money off of and everything. But speaking of layoffs, let's move into the third topic of tonight. Dragon Age Dreadwolf is reportedly not coming out until summer 2024 at the earliest. BioWare laid off 50 staff members to streamline operations, but Dragon Age Dreadwolf development remains unaffected. Dragon Age Dreadwolf was initially expected to release in September of 2023. The internal release date was then moved back to March 2024, but the game has been delayed yet again. The early estimated release window is now summer 2024. There is a possibility of further delays, and the game may not launch by the end of next year, or it might be even moved into fiscal year 2025. So, that being said, I want to hit the first point of this 50 staff members being laid off to streamline operations. That means they are cutting the fat. I love, corporate speak on a lot of this kind of stuff. But yeah, they're cutting the fat and going down to a smaller team because this game has been in development hell for a very long time. The last Dragon Age, let me look this up. It was Dragon Age Inquisition. Dragon Age Inquisition. I think it was like 2014, November 18th, 2014. And like 2 years after that, we started getting hints that there was a new Dragon Age being worked on. So we've been hearing about this for a very long time. It was supposed to come out literally this coming up month, but it has been pushed back. So them laying 50 staff members off is kind of signaling to me that they don't have a ton of faith in this project. And that stinks because Dragon Age is one of BioWare's stronger IPs. I would say Mass Effect was the strongest until Andromeda, and that kind of messed things up there. But BioWare has been shifting from Star Wars, The Old Republic. They moved that out to an external source. Now they're back in Eternal, so that team is now able to develop other things. And now we're seeing 50 staff members being let off, and you're saying like 50 staff, that's not a ton, but it's like when these teams are 100 to 150, and that's a big staff for a certain game, sometimes it'll go up to like 300 or more, but 50 is a big number. Like if people let off, like at a school, if you let 50 teachers go, like that would gut a school. A big school would gut a school right away. So 50 staff members is a big number, even for a big corporation. It's not like Volition where they literally let the whole studio go, but it's still a big thing. And then hearing that this game is now not only not in March 2024, but possibly summer 2024, or even later into March 2025, fiscal year 2024, technically. But that all being said, it says to me that this game is not where it needs to be, that they're trimming the fat, that they are trying to get the team to focus on things, because a lot of times in development, you see the team get spread out trying to do so many different things instead of focusing on the core. And I hate that, anybody gets let go for, streamlining or anything like that. But a lot of this is because of mismanagement. This is not because of people underneath doing what they were told. This is because of management not doing their job and not being able to keep the deadlines, not being able to guide their team, give feedback. That's a lot of what I've come to see from the gaming industry. There's not a lot of actual management, because a lot of the management in games development are coders. They're people that have worked on games, but they're not necessarily leaders. They are, kind of head down. They're doing the job and all of that, but they've been there for so long, they've been moved up or whatever. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when you don't have someone that can lead you, you don't know where you're going. And when I see all of these layoffs constantly, and some of it is economic, some of it is because people are not doing their job, it gets on my nerves, because it's like, you just need to structure this better. I'm not saying hire people that don't know gaming. I'm saying develop programs to teach your leaders how to lead. Are you giving feedback in a good timeline? Are you taking the time to actually give feedback? Are you so overworked that you don't know what people are doing? Do you have deadlines? Do you have people under you that are checking people? Like, do you have an actual structure to your company, or is it just a bunch of people just trying to bang out a game and be done with it? And it's like, when that's the case, it's like, of course, it's like trying to catch water in a cauldron. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? So like, seeing this, it's like, okay, we're cutting staff, and it's just like, is that the right thing? Is it just the people that are below, or are you taking the leadership to accountability? Is there any accountability into what's actually happening here? Or are the people that are below the leadership the ones that are getting punished? And that's a lot of the time, these layoffs are the ones that are under that leadership, and that bad leader gets to stay there. And that just stinks. You know what I mean? That just stinks. Amy says, definitely not good leadership in gaming. Yeah, I see it over and over. Murdoch says, I do, and we produce results. Exactly. It's like, when you have a good leader and you have checks in place, you have standards of practice, you have procedures. This is something that I've been going through the last year, is developing procedures for myself to be able to do the thing that I need to do better and better, where it would take me a long time to do it before. Now I'm able to do it within an hour, where it would take me 2 days a year ago. I'm able to do it within an hour now. It's because I have good leadership. Might not always see eye to eye, might, begrudgingly do it, but I've seen the reasoning and the process, and the process has worked. And now I'm able to do it more efficiently and even better than I was at the beginning of when I was at this company. Keep them accountable. Exactly. Murdoch says Xbox app on PC updated its background to Starfield logo on PC. Maybe because I preloaded it. Maybe. I don't know. On that part. But yeah, there's my little rant about bad development kind of stuff and everything. And we see this, looking at Ubisoft. I know they talked about Beyond Good and Evil, that it's still coming out and all of that. It's like, is it really coming out? I don't believe it is. And Ubisoft is a whole nother thing. Anyway, let's talk about one of our sponsors tonight, Coffee Brand Coffee. Amy got the medium roast and what was hers? It was a tea. I forgot what it was. She got a tea, and she tried it out today, and she said, man, that was really good. The tea that she got, she really, really enjoyed. It was a chai tea, and I am really, really excited about this sponsor. There are nearly 4,000 verified reviews, and most of them are 5 out of 5. You need to go check these people out. They've got 12 coffee blends, 12 organic teas, and 3 hot cocoa flavors. They also have cold brew and K-Cups available. All of this is hand roasted to order. So it's not sitting on a shelf. They're not just waiting for you to order. Once you order, it's going to be hand roasted right then and there for you. That's why it's a little bit more expensive, but you're getting a more premium product because it is fresh to death. Let me just say that it's fresh to death. So definitely check out Coffee Brand Coffee. Elevate your coffee experience with Coffee Brand Coffee and use code NerdCave at checkout or the link in the description below to get 5% off of your order. So again, check out Coffee Brand Coffee. Use code NerdCave at checkout to get 5% off your order today. Murdoch says, if I manage the game studio, you best believe you get all the alpha passes and game keys. Well, I appreciate that, bro. 2 people are playing Starfield already. Pre-order bonus equals yes. Some of that might be because they have early access and the embargo is up. Let's move into the PlayStation news. There's a rumor going around that God of War Ragnarok DLC is incoming. Leaker The Snitch suggests a God of War Ragnarok DLC project is in development. And The Snitch has been accurate over different God of War news before, but online leaks are uncertain, of course. Sony Santa Monica's God of War franchise has never really gotten any additional content. It's always just been released and then that's it. So I don't know how accurate this is going to be, but a lot of the games like Ragnarok and the 2018 received like quality of life stuff. So not necessarily like DLC. It would be like a photo mode or new game plus, but nothing extra on that. But to kind of go with this, a job listing from Santa Monica for a combat designer familiar with the last 2 games could support the DLC rumor, and it is still unclear if this is for a new game in the franchise or DLC. But for me, I would love to get DLC. I'm being a little selfish here, but I also would just love to get a new game. A lot of games that do DLC, they're usually, most of the time, they're pretty good from the first party studios. I'm thinking about Uncharted. I always forget about it's the one for Uncharted 4 with Nadine in it, and it's really good. It's like 6 hours, something like that. Really, really good. A lot of other times, though, DLC is not that well fleshed out. It's kind of like, okay, we're just adding to it. It's like you want another 20, 30 hours with this game, but you get 4 to 6 hours, and that's a lot. I like Miles Morales was actually going to be DLC for the first Spider-Man, and then they're like, hey, why don't we just actually make this a game? And I love Miles Morales. There's a ton of stuff to do in that game, really well thought out, and I really enjoyed it. So with Ragnarok getting DLC, I'm not sure where they can necessarily take the story that wasn't done in the original story. And I don't want something just to set up another game. I want something that is all encompassing, and I don't want it to just give away stuff. You know, I want it to be able to stand on its own or be something that is, before all of this. I don't know what 100% this could be, but with the snitch, being accurate on different news from God of War and leaks and all of that, it gives a little bit of credence. And with Santa Monica's listing, it gives a little bit more credence and all of that. But if it's a new game, I'm down for that. If it's DLC, I'm like, okay, it's going to be awesome. I definitely will play it, but I want a new game more than I want DLC at this point, because I can still go back and play Ragnarok. I can still, 100% that, delve really deep in that. But I don't think DLC is necessarily the answer. And if you would have asked me like right after playing, then I would be like, yeah, I want DLC. But at this point, I'm like, I really enjoyed my time with Ragnarok. I think it is super solid. It ties everything together with the story that we were presenting. I think DLC would kind of cheapen that a little bit. And I don't want Ragnarok to be cheapened. I want that packaging, that well-crafted story to be able to stand on its own 2 feet without saying, oh yeah, well then the DLC came out and it wasn't as good. That's how I kind of feel about the DLC. A new game though, I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see what we get from a new God of War. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a lot of potential with a new God of War. What we can do with the story. Do we continue with Kratos? Do we go with Atreus? I don't know, but there's a lot of potential in a new game, and only time will tell. But we know that Santa Monica is working on a sweet, sweet God of War new game. I know it. I know it. All right. Let's move on to the next PlayStation news of the night. PlayStation Plus subscription prices will go up significantly starting next week. PlayStation Plus subscription prices will be significantly increased beginning September 6, 2023. If you're someone who pays annually for PlayStation Plus, then the new pricing won't go into effect if your renewal date is before November 6, 2023. The new pricing will be changed next week, however, for the 1 month or 3 month purchasing options. This is what the pricing is right now for PlayStation Plus for 1 year at each tier. PlayStation Plus Essential is $59.99. PlayStation Plus Extra is $99.99. PlayStation Plus Premium is $119.99. And here are the prices that will begin next week on September 6th. $79.99 for PlayStation Plus Essentials. PlayStation Plus Extra will be $134.99, and PlayStation Plus Premium will be $159.99. So that is like a 35% increase on the price here. And I know PlayStation they're saying, oh, this is so we can continue to make better products, better games, and all of this. But PlayStation Plus has been straight up lacking for a long time. And Extra and Premium ain't really worth it. I'm going to just say it ain't really worth it, because the games that they add are, several months old. We're never going to get the day one kind of stuff with PlayStation Plus. But you aren't getting a ton of games. You're getting a lot of PlayStation 1 games at the top tier. Yeah, you do get to try games out and all of that, which is great for the ones that do let you do that. But the price increase, even on the tiers that we're right now, it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. And now we're getting this 35% increase. And I know, cost of doing business is going up for everything. Amy even points out everything is going up. But this is, to me, it's like, well, what are we getting? Are we getting anything out of this increase? Because last month's games, August's games, not that great. September's are all right, but PlayStation Plus is not anywhere near Game Pass, and I'm paying a lot more for a year here now. Like, it's just going up, and I want to say, if you're a PlayStation Plus subscriber, get your year before the 6th. Go ahead, lock in that price, and get it in. Be done with it. Get it at $69.99 or $59.99, and then you're saving $20 right then and there. You're saving $20, well, even more for some of these. Yeah, extra is going up from $9.99 to $134.99. That's crazy. That is a huge jump. Same thing. It just ain't worth it. It just ain't worth it. Until PlayStation is able to actually do anything with that, then we can talk. Because if you look at games like Fortnite, I don't even think you have to have PlayStation Plus. Let's look. Do you have to have PlayStation Plus to play Fortnite? No. So you don't have to have it for Fortnite. Let's see. Warzone 2. PlayStation Plus. Yeah, Warzone, you don't have to have it either. See, let's see Apex. I'm just seeing these popular games that you would have. You do not need PlayStation Plus to play Apex either. So right then and there, that kind of answers my question. For the people that are playing these online games, you don't need it. You don't need it. I wonder if Diablo, if you have to have it. You might have to. I'm not sure. No, you don't need PlayStation Plus. So it's like, why would you pay this price other than to get like the free quote unquote games? But as soon as you cancel the service, all of those games you don't get access to anymore. So it's like, are these B to C tier games? You might get an A tier game that's several months old every now and then, but are those worth, $60 a year? Are they worth $79 a year? Are they worth $134, $159? Like, you've got to kind of like look at that and see, is that really worth your investment? Because if you are trying to make ends meet, if you are trying to, afford different things, it might be worth sacrificing. It's like, hey, I don't really need this right now. I can get Xbox Game Pass and get way more. I get Starfield flipping day one. You know what I mean? And PlayStation's over here like, hey, you get Dreams for a month and then we're taking it offline. It's like, seriously, dog? You know what I mean? So I think PlayStation they're already seeing a lot of people drop PlayStation Plus when they introduced this tier system. And I think they're going to see even more people drop it as well. Murdoch says Xbox Game Pass Ultimate perks right now. World of Warships, Fallout 76, and Apex Legends. Okay. They usually have Black Friday deals to use for a year of PlayStation Plus. Yeah. Dan says definitely not worth it. Everything's going up. Yeah. The only thing I see worth is Xbox Game Pass, and Ultimate really isn't that much more, but the perks really aren't worth it either. I think with Xbox is like, you get all of Xbox's games day one. Boom. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if it's brand new, you're getting Starfield. You're getting, Redfall was awful or whatever, but you're getting those games day one. And they also have a really strong relationship with EA. So you get a lot of the EA play stuff right then and there. And you also get Elder Scrolls Online. You get all of that content free. So there are a lot of things with that. And the deals with Xbox like even if you did Xbox Ultimate year pass yearly, let's see how much that is. So let's go. Where's it at? Okay, I guess I'll hit join now. Ultimate $16.99 a month. How much is that? $16.99 a month. So this is as big as it gets. $16.99. Trying it just won't even tell. Oh my god. Okay, I'll just do the math then, y'all. $16.99 times 12. That's 203. That is kind of pricey for all of that, but you are getting a lot of that. But if you're just on console, like you're not switching back and forth, you don't want cloud, times 12, that's 131. If you're just on PC, times 12, it's $9.99. That's 119.88. You said that a while back the Xbox was making a move to take over Steam and other platforms. Yeah, they definitely are. They're moving to be the place to play, and they're putting their stuff on all things. Like we literally have Samsung TVs at work, and constantly popping up. It's like play your Xbox games here. So Xbox is doing an interesting job of this. And I know I'm ragging on PlayStation here, but it's a little annoying to see constantly games being more expensive, their services going up, and I know Xbox Game Pass went up as well, so they're not getting scotch free here. But the Xbox Game Pass is way better deal than what we're getting over on PlayStation. It's just ridiculous. Let's jump into the PlayStation quickies, y'all. Sony aiming for PlayStation Portal battery life to match the DualSense controller. So I'm assuming they're not talking about the PlayStation 5, but maybe the PlayStation 4. I'm not 100% sure because I know this is a DualSense controller, haptic feedback and all of that. It lasts a good bit, but it is definitely not on the same level as like the PlayStation 4 controller. Sony will acquire audio tech developer and award-winning headphone maker Odysseys, which is actually pretty good. I've had some of their headphones. Rumor a new PlayStation 2 emulator is in the works at Sony. Okay. New State of Play is coming, according to Jeff Grubb, but no word on the PlayStation Showcase yet. Maybe we get one in September. I don't know. Maybe it's the beginning of the year. I don't know. Paper Beast Enhanced Edition brings mesmerizing adventure to the PlayStation Virtual Reality 2 on September 27th. That's for you, Derek. I know you're not here, but I did it for you. New C-Smash VRS PlayStation Virtual Reality 2 update will add co-op, infinity mode, and new stages on September 14th. No Man's Sky PlayStation VR 2. I don't even know what he's trying to say here. Rendering is a huge game changer for Hello Games. Space Epic foveated. I guess that's the word. I don't know. PlayStation Essentials for September announced. Saints Row for the PlayStation 5 and PS4. Black Desert Traveler Edition for the PlayStation 4. And Generation Zero for the PlayStation 4. I do want to check out that Black Desert game, though. Final Fantasy 16 update confirmed for September to adjust arcade mode. Sony trademarks Astrobot in Europe, possibly indicating a new game is on the way. The Last of Us Craig Mazin isn't against making spinoffs if they make sense. Marvel's Spider-Man 2 reportedly requires a minimum of 98 gigabytes of space. My lord. That's a big game. That's a pretty big game, y'all. Just quick reel in here. The Black Desert. I know we talked about Crimson Desert last week. And it was the one trailer like everybody was going crazy for when we were watching it on stream. I know I was going crazy for it as well. It is not an MMO. It is a single player RPG open world game. So just confirming that right here. Crimson Desert, single player. It's going to be awesome. It looks absolutely insane. Cannot wait to see more of it, but I just wanted to bring that up right then and there. Guys, the quick hits, which we're about to get to, is also known as the Patreon Quick Hits. And they're brought to you by our wonderful patrons. Become part of the ship, part of the exclusive crew by going over to patreon.com/nerdcave and picking a tier that fits you best and support us. It helps us each and every week to be able to do awesome shows like this, our Tuesday stream, and to be able to make awesome content like our book reviews and all of that good stuff. So if you want to see more great content be able to be made on the Nerd Cave, please think about going over to patreon.com and supporting us, patreon.com/nerdcave, and supporting us there. It helps us out a ton. It is the best way to support us. And thank you to all the wonderful patrons that have went over there and given us your hard-earned money. It is much, much appreciated. So before I get into that, I am going to take a nice drink of the Coca-Cola out of the stream cup because my throat is parched. And it says patrons. Here we go. The Patreon quick hits for August 31st, 2023. John Cena will be voicing Peacemaker in Mortal Kombat 1. Ed Boon would love to do a Marvel versus DC game, though admits it's probably very difficult to jump that hurdle. Lords of the Fallen has officially gone gold ahead of its October release. The Crew Motorfest details year one pass includes 25 cars with 3 available at launch. Fortnite Chapter 4 Season 4 Last Resort trailer showcases heist, vampires, and more. Ahsoka Tano is now available in Fortnite. Baldur's Gate 3 will launch on Xbox this year, but without split-screen co-op on the Series S. Baldur's Gate 3 DLC is possible as Larian confirms it wants to do more with the game. Citizen Sleeper 2 Star Wars Vector will hit Xbox Game Pass day one. Todd Howard says Starfield has a new Game Plus. Some more Starfield news as I spit on my hand. Starfield doesn't really even get going until players finish the main quest, Bethesda exec says. In hindsight, Todd Howard would have announced Elder Scrolls 6 more casually than a huge trailer. Excitebike 64 is out now on the Nintendo Switch Online. Bandai Namco confirms Naruto Cross Boruto Ultimate Ninja Storm connections will let Series X players block users on Series S so as not to affect the frame rate. Wow, that's toxic. Killing Floor 3 dev wants to limit microtransactions to cosmetic items. It's still in early stages of production. AMD's Fidelity FX Super Resolution 3 will work on current gen platforms. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty story takes place within the main game, new skills inspired by Edge Runner's anime series. Sega and Atlas to host special broadcasts at the Tokyo Game Show. Telltale's The Expanse Episode 3 is now available. The legendary writer Michael Unsworth leaves Rockstar Games after 16 years. Gamescom's had the most watched opening night live ever this year. The Darkness could be receiving a remaster from Night Dive Studios. Sean Ashmore returns in Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2 was developed by around 130 people and took roughly 4 years to make. I cannot wait for that game. The Outlast Trials will be coming to consoles early 2024, says Red Barrels. Payday 3 dev confirms at least 18 months of post-launch content. RoboCop Rogue City has been delayed to November 2nd. The devs of The Lord of the Rings Return to Moria created Tolkien's secret dwarven language. Microsoft's pulls $1 Game Pass trial just days before Starfield's release date. The Switch just passed the Wii's total sales in the US. That's huge, guys, because the Wii sold like crazy. Mini-Me Games confirms it's closing its doors, with Shadow's Gambit being the studio's final game. Director Katsuro Hashino says Persona 3 saved Atlas from collapsing. Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster Gate Rune and Dunin Unification Wars delayed beyond 2023. Lies of P, heavily criticized dodge and durability have been fixed for release. Awesome. That's good to hear. CD Projekt Red moving more resources to the new Witcher game as Phantom Liberty releases Loom. Street Fighter 6 brings AKI to fight on September 27th. Capcom to showcase Dragon's Dogma 2 gameplay at TGS. Front Mission 2 remake heads west for the first time on October 5th. Assassin's Creed Mirage started as a Valhalla DLC with Ivor in the Middle East. Pokemon getting a live-action drama series. Drama. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 has an AI-powered voice chat moderation system. And finally, The Elder Scrolls 6 is officially in early development, but don't expect to hear about it soon. I think we will definitely hear about all of that for a long, long time. It won't be a long time. He needs to stay away from Marvel versus DC. He needs to do something that's not fun. Yeah, we literally talked about that. Yeah. That means Starfield is like No Man's Sky. Starfield is... It's what No Man's Sky should have been at the beginning. I would suggest if you're going to buy Starfield, not do it Game Pass wise, or if I would suggest anyone go watch some reviews on Starfield. Kind of Funnies is really good. Their Starfield review. They even have like the first hour up and everything. Go check out people that you trust that have played the game, because that will help you. You know, like my tastes are very close to some of the people at Kind of Funny and everything. So it's like hearing what they have to say. I'm like, okay, I can definitely see that. It makes sense. And it's like not getting so attached to like the potential of the game, the hype of the game and everything. So yeah, I definitely would suggest go watching, go reading some reviews and seeing where you kind of land, because it's a game. There's going to be bugs, there's going to be issues, and hopefully those will be, you know, addressed as they go on, and not do what Bethesda's really been known to do and just kind of sitting on it and not addressing those issues. Don't you know that you talk? Oh yeah. Yep. I hope Mirage is going to be a full game and not another Miles Morales. It's going to be a shorter Assassin's Creed. It's going to be more like the original ones than the big super open world, because you're just getting Baghdad. But I think it will be a more full-blown game than Miles Morales, which Miles had a ton of stuff to do in it. I'm not going to dog that game. And it was cheaper. I think Miles was like $40 when it launched. So I ain't gonna dog it. I'm very proud of the studio behind No Man's Sky. They listened and fixed it and loved on that game till now, and it's still going. Exactly. Hello Games is definitely like they took it on the chin like a champ, and they came back and made that game something that a lot of people were just blown away with, and they continue to put stuff out. They continue to work on that game. And even to Cyberpunk 2077, it's like nobody wants a launch like that ever again. But for CD Projekt Red to be able to turn that around and make an awesome game like they've been able to do is huge. And a lot of studios, again, it goes back to that management side of things. It's like, do you have processes in place to be able to check that? And are you writing a check that you can't cash? Is your mouth writing a check you can't cash type deal? So I hope that more people learn from those mistakes. Sony has been much better about it, because back in the day they would give release dates and then push them back over and over again. And now they don't put a release date on anything until they're like, okay, it's about to be gold. So yeah, I'm definitely hoping more people will learn that. Joe says, I got Mirage and Mario Wonder Wonder pre-ordered. Mario Wonder had a free pre-order deposit, so I said, why not? Yeah. That is, I like that a lot better than just like, I'm sure that could be like taken advantage of, like a lot of stores getting copies that they don't need. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to play Wonder. It just doesn't look like a Mario. I'm not a huge like side scroller Mario player. I like the 3D Mario games. Odyssey is amazing, and now that I know that Charles Martinet is not Mario in that one, I'm kind of like, I don't know. But I'm curious how Mirage will do. Will I play it? Probably not, just because Starfield is here, and then next month is Spider-Man 2. I just ain't got time. You know what I mean? And I do want to jump into Baldur's Gate as well, Baldur's Gate 3, but it's like I don't have time to jump into another RPG. It's like I ain't got the bandwidth. Y'all know what I mean? I ain't got the bandwidth. Well, there you go. There is the Nerd Cave news this week. I hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that like button. This has been Zach. Y'all have a blessed week. Bye.